How is it possible to get all the badges without any experience? At 2025 Make with Notion, they reopened their Notion Academy with 3 new badges and 1 new certificate. So in this video I want to show you everything, how to access it and hopefully how to pass it. For those who don't know me, my name is Leon and I'm verified by Notion with all their 3 badges, and here is Notion badges. In this chapter I want to show you how to access everything in the first place. So what you do, I already opened this, is you go to academy.notion.com and then you will be guided to this website. And this is the Notion Academy website where you will find everything. Now, this website already existed, but Notion closed it in October 2024 for a remake. So there were already certificates like the Notion Essentials badge, and now they reopened their academy. So now, as you can see here, it says earn badges with Notion, and here you have the 3 badges. You have the Essentials path with 3 lessons, the Workflows path with 4 lessons, and the Advanced path with 5 lessons. So these are all the 3 badges: Essentials, Workflows, and Advanced. So what applies for every badge is, let's start with Essentials because it's the basic one. You click here. So first then you watch the videos. You click, for example, on building basics, and then you will see you have the lesson overview. You then have workspace and sidebar. That is a video. You have building blocks. That is a video. So you have this big container that says building basics, which includes different videos. Then there is another block, which is sharing and collaboration. And this also includes different videos. Once you finish this, then you can take the quiz to get the real badge. So first you watch the videos and then you take the badge. And when you have, for example, the essential badge, then you can redo this for the workflow badge. And once you pass the test, you can see, I'm not signed in here, but if you're signed in, then you can see your certificate in your profile and you will also get a mail. And that's it for this chapter. Let's move on to the next chapter. In this chapter, I want to give you tips to pass. Now, I have to admit that I'm a bit biased because I already have some experience under my belt. But the quizzes are built in a way that if you watched closely in the videos and you paid attention, and sometimes in the quiz you think logically a bit around the corner sometimes, I strongly believe that you can pass the badge with no experience. The first thing I want you to do is to put your ego away, because these badges are not a piece of cake. You can't do it on the side. You really have to focus on it, learn, understand, and then do it. So put your ego away and do it seriously and pay close attention. Because, for example, even though it says Essentials, the Essentials badge might be more difficult than you think. So with that out of the way, my first tip is, if there is something that comes up that you don't understand, ask AI or do the research otherwise to understand this. So if there is something you don't understand, before you move on in learning with the videos or watch the videos whatsoever, first do research on what you don't understand until you understand it. Like ask Notion AI what this feature in Notion is and give you examples. Or if you are on a business or enterprise plan, even ask the Notion agent to build you something that could benefit your comprehension. What you can also do if you want to do like manual research, if you don't want to fully rely on AI, is you can watch YouTube videos on this example. Let's say that you struggle with understanding what sync blocks are. Then you can go to YouTube and there you can watch videos on the topic. And maybe it makes click with one specific video because your instructor, the person who made this video, used one specific example that helped you to understand the topic. The next tip is that if you learn something new, try to experiment with it. So let's say you take the Essentials quiz and there are, for example, buttons and you heard of it, but you haven't tried Notion buttons. Then before you move on with the videos, try to experiment. What is possible? What can Notion buttons do? Try to understand it, to really understand it and not just, okay, buttons do this. really get your hands on the features. And my last tip for this chapter is watch closely. Really pay attention to the small details, because there are things that play a minor role in the videos, but they are included in questions of the Notion quizzes. So really watch closely, pay attention to the small details, because this can benefit you in the quizzes. But now that's it for this chapter. Let's move on to the next chapter, where I will cover the most important thing in my opinion. In this chapter, I want to give you a free template for learning for these quizzes. The link for the template is in the video description down below, where you can just duplicate it to your Notion workspace. So the first thing is to really learn with this flashcard system and its flashcards until you feel confident. If there is something you struggle with, first master it and then take the quiz. But also make sure to really understand something in depth. Not just you know the answer to the flashcard, but really on the level that you could explain this to another person who has no idea what this is. So when you take the videos, take notes or let AI take notes for you. And then when you have your notes, then create flashcards, maybe by hand, or even let, for example, the Notion agent create flashcards for you, because the Notion agent is, in my opinion, a game changer. If you want to learn more about this, watch this video over here. Stay